It's been a really weird week. I've had a really good response to my last video and I'm so thrilled. Thank you so much for watching it, and to those of you who have subscribed, it's just amazing because it's really nice to know that I've got all that support. I've had some really lovely responses, so it's really good. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe because it would really give me a boost, but also it just means that I know people are watching them, and that's good, I guess. This week I thought I would cover a topic that I mentioned in the last vlog. It's a bit of a sensitive one, so if you think I'm going to talk about my OCD, my anxiety and things like that, so if you think that's going to affect you, then please just turn it off now. I'll give you a second. So I've got notes again, but I thought I'd kind of cover when it first started, how it makes me feel and what I've been doing to improve it, because it's been really, really good. I've been really making some good moves. So, I mean, it started really intensely when I started at university. I was struggling because I didn't like really being away from home, and although I was in Ipswich, so I was basically at home. I was away from my mum and Marley and my own bedroom and things like that. I still had my dad really nearby, so that really, really helped, but I was still stressed because I was in a different environment and I had lots of stress and, you know, work, even though I really enjoyed it anyway, but still, yeah, I think that got really difficult. And then at the time as well, I was in a long distance relationship. This was before Stuart, so I was really struggling with that as well, keeping that going. But so it was affecting me there, and I'd have to do my repetitive things like I mentioned before, whether it was like locking the door or things like that, or just moving things from place to place. And my friend at uni was really supportive, and sometimes if I was having a bad day she'd come and get me and walk with me from my halls. And then it would just be a case of, you know, just little things that I was trying to make unnoticeable to other people, and I hope they didn't notice because that would be really embarrassing. But yeah, it was that stress that really got to me, and then it started to transfer at home. And I remember one time I was trying to walk out of the house with my mum, and I was like frozen to the spot on the stairs because I was thinking negative thoughts and I didn't want to, and I couldn't move before I could erase them, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it was really stressful for her, and I'm sure both my parents have gone through quite a bit of stress trying to understand what I'm going through, and I know, I fully appreciate it's very difficult for anyone. I used to do things, I'll give you examples of what I used to do. I used to like drive around in circles. I'd be paranoid that I'd gone past a speed camera, and I'm not one to speed because I'm extremely cautious. I'm really embarrassingly so. But I used to drive around in circles over and over again and be exhausting because I've got a very visual imagination. So it would be a case of I'd picture it in my head, so I'd need to go and check it in real life. And that became really, really exhausting, and that would just, the stress from that would then make it worse, and it was a vicious, vicious circle. There was one particular time when I was at university, and this is my big example. This is when it was really, 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 really bad, and I got frozen to the spot. I was walking from, not many people even know, maybe some of you have been to Suffolk and would know, but I would walk through an alleyway to get to my grandma's because I would park there, and then at the end of the week I would go and pick my car up and then drive home, or back to my halls to pack all my stuff and then go home, or to my dad's. And this particular time I had finished my course and I got a negative thought, and I was standing in the middle of just a pedestrian area, but a very open one, and I got stuck there, and eventually I got to move a little bit further, but by that point I was quite stressed. And I had called my dad, because normally if I could distract myself by calling someone and just chatting to them, then that would be fine, but even that wasn't working, and he was getting obviously very worried about me, and he was away with work. And no one could come and help me because I didn't want to tell anyone else apart from my family. So I got a little bit further and I ended up in an alleyway and it was daylight, thankfully, but it wouldn't be long until it was getting dark, and I remember trying to call my boyfriend at the time and he couldn't help me, And then eventually my aunt and uncle, who I had not seen in a long time, years probably, I just saw walking towards me, because by that point it had been probably about an hour of me trying to walk a 10-minute journey. And this is, I mean, it's a lot more detailed than this. I can't even explain it all, because it's already like just stressing me out thinking about it. But I went through that, and when I saw my aunt walking towards me, I just broke down. And I think that's the worst I can remember it getting. Because usually I can control it, but then that's just the one thing that's stuck in my mind. And they picked me up and they looked after me, and my mum looked after me, but I made sure I stayed at uni, and I came home the next day instead. At that point I think it was pretty clear that I needed some sort of help and intervention. So I went to my GP. I sort of explained a bit of what I was going through, and he identified it as anxiety and passed me on to a therapist, and then he subsequently passed me on to do some CBT courses. I did, I think, 3 or 4, and I was really progressing, and I was getting really good at it, at controlling it, and I thought, you know, please let me do some more of these. No, they wouldn't do them. They couldn't. They've obviously, I fully understand that they haven't got the funding to do it, but I was really frustrated because it was something that was helping me, and they just didn't pursue it any further. And I have never ever questioned anything, but I said, please, can you help me? And nothing. So at that point I kind of lost faith, because it took a lot for me to get there in the first place, and then I kind of hit a brick wall and I didn't know what to do. So I sort of hid from them. They sent me letters and stuff, and they moved practices, I can't remember where to, and then because I didn't get in contact with them, they stopped, so I kind of just carried on. I didn't get that bad again, but then my relationship ended and I became okay. I was fine, there was no stress with that, so I started to be able to control it a bit more, and I had a year or so, and I was just finding who I was and spending lots of time with friends, and I found that I wasn't getting the effects of it anymore. So that was really good. I mean, I didn't also mention, actually, they put me on some sort of drugs, I can't remember what it was, but they weren't doing anything, so the CBT practical things really helped me. So the 3rd year of uni, I was much better as well, because it was the first year that happened. Then I had the 2nd year I was living with my friends, so it was a bit more manageable there. And then the 3rd year was much better, because I was only in uni a few days a week, so I'd be at home a lot of the week and working, and I stayed with my dad as well, so free rent, which was always a good thing, but also I had him to support me, so it was a bit less stressful because I was in a more familiar environment. When I started going out with Stuart, nothing happened. It was lovely. I wasn't stressed. I'd finished uni. I was just finding jobs, things like that. I never really had any effects of it. And I've only really noticed it when I've been really stressed now, or tired or nervous. That's my main thing. That's when it appears. So yeah, I mean, I then got a job eventually with a company, and I was alright, I was fine. And then a few years down the road they changed my role slightly. I was getting very overwhelmed, and I'm very lucky that I had such a supportive manager. And she was really good. She was trying to lighten the load as much as she could, because it was coming from above. But it got really bad, and I was becoming more stressed with work, and then stressed with the fact that was affecting my mental health. So I went to my GP, and this is awful, and I know that it's not everyone's experience, so please don't let it put you off going if you feel like you need to go. But I went to my GP and explained everything. They knew that I'd had the anxiety before, they knew what I'd done and what I'd been prescribed, everything, obviously. And I was crying, and she said, "You're young, you'll get over it." Her exact words were, "You're young, people have it worse off than you, and they're much older, you'll get over it." And that was it. I'd it had taken me months to get up the courage to go, people forcing me to go to the doctors, and that's what I was met with. So nothing happened because I wasn't going to go and do it. I wasn't going to go and push anything else, because if the doctor wasn't going to do anything for me, then I thought, okay, what are my options then? So I lost a lot of faith, not gonna lie. But yeah, I left that job, started working myself, and surprisingly less stressful. It was brilliant and I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone who's even thinking about it. Do it, because you're in control. Sorry about that. You're in control of everything. So yeah, it's great. But I guess that was the work life part of it. And with the wedding, I know that lots of people probably think, oh my god, you've been talking about it for years, you've been organising it since like way before you should have. But that was a preventative measure, because I knew that if I left things, it would stress me out, and it was stressing me out just not having things done that I could easily do and get done early. So that's why I did things so early, because I knew that the pressure put on myself wasn't worth what it would do to me in the long run. So yeah, that's how I did it. So now, I guess it all came to a head again because I started getting a bit stressed and nervous and angry, just general things. I can't even remember why, but I just did it. I kept getting just lots of repetitive things I had to do, negative thoughts, things like that. So I just thought, okay, I need to do something. And I had a bit of a meltdown, which is when we decided that I needed to find something that would help me. And I thought, okay, well, why not try an alternative method like hypnosis or something like that? So I went on bark.com and put in everything that I'd gone through, all the details of what happened to me at the GP, all my like different things that have happened, and I decided that I would just leave it on there and see who would contact me, because that's what it is. It's professionals that think they can help you that will come to you. And Ashlyn got in contact. She was the only one as well that got in contact. So I thought, definitely, I've got to see her. She was really, really friendly from the first moment I spoke to her on the phone. Just so lovely, and I felt like I really connected to her. So she's taught me breathing techniques, visualizations, which is great for me because of my mind and how I work. But also she's put me under, you know, she's done hypnosis on me. Oh, it's just hypnotised me, that's the one. And given me loads of different techniques to work, and just spoken to me about it. And it's been great because she understands what I mean when I say things, and I know that this probably doesn't come across here. But I guess if you've gone through it, or if you understand in any way, shape or form, you'll kind of get it. So yeah, so I feel much better now. I can end it on a positive note because I feel like I'm in control. I feel like if I start to do something, I can persuade myself otherwise. I feel like just a lot more free to do things, which is great because it used to take me ages. I used to dread leaving the house because I'd have to do things over and over again, so I'd just put it off. Or I'd say no to things because I thought, oh, that's too stressful, I can't do that because it's going to take me forever. Or even writing things, like I'd have to write things over and over again. So it has an effect on everything, not just me having to do things, but even when I'm reading, when I'm writing, everything just takes ages. Just ridiculous, but not anymore. It's so good. So please, please, please look after yourself. And if you are struggling with anything, talk to someone. Like, my friends have understood. I mean, they all think I'm weird anyway, but they haven't ever judged me for anything, and, you know, I'm eternally grateful for that. But also, just talk to, you know, parents, family members, the doctor. Just because I've had a bad experience doesn't mean that everyone's bad. By all means, just, if you are thinking about it, just go. Or check out alternative therapies. Any method that can work for you, go for it. Talk to me. I don't mind. I'll talk to anyone about anything. And if you've got any questions about anything or want to know anything in more detail, just by all means ask me. You know, I can't thank my friend Stuart. He has put up with so much, and I'm so grateful because he's married me, even though he knows what I'm like. So that's saying something, isn't it? Oh, he's so lovely. But yeah, you would be surprised at how willing people are to help you. So please just go for it. And thank you for watching all the way through if you've got to it. Camera says it's been 15 minutes and I don't think I'll even edit it. So I hope it's not been blurry, because I'm using my camera this week rather than the front-facing camera on my phone. Ooh, posh. But yes, so I thought I'd get this one out of the way so that no one's wondering anything about me. And if you've got any questions, ask me. If you want to know any more about me, just ask. Go for it. Subscribe, like it, share it. Share it if you've got anyone that could benefit from just listening to me ramble on about my experience, and please just share it with them. I'm not precious about it. Go for it. Hopefully it'll be more light-hearted next week. I'm going to think about something to talk about, and if you've got any suggestions, throw them my way, because Stuart's probably being wound up by me asking him over and over again what he thinks I should film. Right, see you next week. Oh, actually, no, before I say that, I've worn a bold lip every day. I've worn a bold lip every day, even when I went to the gym today. And also when I did a park workout with 2 of my friends yesterday. Put that on at 9 o'clock in the morning to go out for a run in the cold. Yep, brave. But I've done that, and it's Sunday night, and I've only got about 200 words left to write, I think, until I get to 1,000 words on my book. So, fingers crossed. Should be a good one. Alright then.